Okay. Good evening. Welcome to one of the oldest fire stations in Pueblo, Hose Company number 2. This station was built in the late 1800s, and it housed 4 horses, a hose cart, and 3 to 4 volunteer firemen that would have to stay here an entire week. Could you imagine? Thankfully they had homes nearby. This station was responsible for the area north of the river and the general downtown area, and it responded to many of the major fires in the late 1800s and early 1900s. One of the oldest fire stations in the city is currently the Fire Museum, Hose Company number 3, located on Broadway just up the road. That station was built in 1895 by the Masons and sold to the city of Pueblo for just $1. It's currently the second oldest building in the city that the city owns, and it's the only fire station in the city to still have a fire pole. There's a couple stories about that old station. Many paranormal groups have stayed the night there to try to make contact with the current residents. One of the best ways they've made themselves known happened just a few years ago, when some firemen were there loading some equipment they needed for their annual dinner they were hosting at the Union Depot. They had pulled the 1924 Model T Chiefs car out and parked it in back, leaving it run. It hadn't been started in a while and it needed to run for a little bit. So they pulled their truck and trailer into the bay from which the car was just removed. They started loading their equipment. When they looked up, they saw the Chiefs car coming down the road as it crashed into the back of their trailer. They went outside to investigate, meeting some people who saw the car driving down the road. And they questioned the fireman. Was that a remote control car? Because nobody was driving it. The car had taken off from behind the station and it veered slightly to miss the building next door, which is a mortuary, and some headstones they have on display there. It made its way onto Evans and to the stop sign at Evans and Broadway, excuse me. It turned right onto Broadway, traveling down the road a ways before it crashed into the back of the trailer in the bay in which it belonged. A similar story happened in 1977 when it was still an active fire station. 4 firemen were asleep upstairs when they awoke at 2 o'clock by the sound of a loud crash. They went downstairs to see what had happened and they found their 1960 Seagraves fire truck parked outside. It had driven through the doors. A police officer responded, and as the 5 of them were outside investigating, the truck started itself up again and drove across the street. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? One of the most well-known fires in the city is the Grand Opera House fire. The Grand Opera House was located at 4th and Main, and it was built in 1890 and opened in October of that same year. The building was designed by renowned Chicago architect Louis H. Sullivan. Sullivan's been referred to as the father of modernism, and he employed a young Frank Lloyd Wright before Wright struck out on his own. That building was valued at over $500,000 when it was destroyed. It was a cold March 1st, 1922. When at 1:15 in the morning, the first alarm sounded. By 1:30 in the morning, 3 alarms had gone out, summoning every piece of equipment the city had and every fireman they could find. The fire had started on the 4th floor dance hall area, but quickly made its way to the scenery loft above the stage, igniting the curtains as they fell to the stage. By 1:50 in the morning, the roof had collapsed. We fought that fire hard, but we fought in vain. We lost that building, was gutted in less than 1 hour. That building was built out of 3-foot thick red sandstone blocks, which was great for withstanding the weather and our water. I mentioned it was cold, but I didn't tell you. It was 22 degrees below zero that morning. And there's photographs of that building after the fire, showing it encased in ice. The Grand Opera House was never rebuilt. So if you'd like to learn more about Pueblo's fire history, take a trip to the Broadway Fire Station. Meet with curators. Who knows? Maybe the current residents will make themselves known to you. You have a good night.